you tired of unreliable teammates? Are you missing your skills at critical moments? Are you frustrated with losing winnable games? Well, this is the one and only Tigreal and roaming guide video you'll ever need. Don't skip. Watch until the very end because I've included my build and emblem setup right at the conclusion of this video. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Today, I'll be sharing essential tips that will make you the #1 roamer in your games. Let's get started with the basics of roaming, and I'll show you how to maximize Tigreal's potential to dominate every match. Part 1, Roaming Guide. First, let's talk about roaming in the current meta. I've seen a lot of roamers try to delay the enemy jungle by invading early, but here's the problem. Players are smarter now. They're prepared for invades and ready to punish you. And with the Season 34 update, roaming into enemy territory deals extra damage to you. So, when should you invade? If your team has a strong early game hero like Hilda, Grok, or Saber, if 3 or more teammates are supporting the invade, if these conditions aren't met, you're better off supporting the gold lane. A strong gold laner like your marksman is crucial for winning late game team fights. But wait, don't always rush to the gold lane. If the enemy team has heroes like Hilda, Hanzo, Fanny, Franco, or Ling, heroes that invade frequently, then you must focus on defending your jungle. Now, what about solo queue? Here's the reality. You can't always rely on your teammates. So your job is to identify the strongest player on your team. If someone is winning their lane, following up on your engages, and carrying the game, stick with that player. Support them as much as possible because they're your best chance of winning. On the flip side, if your jungler is bad at retribution, there's no point in zoning for them. They'll still miss it. Instead, focus on the player who can make the most impact. For those of you in a duo or trio, prioritize helping your reliable teammates. And if you're lucky enough to have a 5-man squad, always plan and coordinate your strategy. Part 2, Tigreal Guide and Combo. Now, let's get into Tigreal's combos and mechanics. Ultimate combos. Implosion. 1. Flicker plus ultimate. Flicker into position and activate your ultimate. This is the most reliable combo, offering a longer stun duration. Shura 2. Ultimate Flicker. Activate your ultimate, then flicker mid-animation to surprise enemies. While this combo has a slightly shorter stun duration, it's harder for enemies to react to. So which combo is better? Use Flicker Ultimate for consistency and Ultimate Flicker when you want to surprise enemies in chaotic fights. Second skill combos. Sacred Hammer. 1. Second skill, Flicker. Use your second skill and flicker mid-dash to extend its range. Perfect for catching enemies off guards. This combo has a shorter range but is much harder to counter. 2. Flicker second skill. Flicker first, then quickly use your second skill to pull enemy. Nash Advanced Combos. Now here's the advanced combo for maximum impact. Want to maximize range? Use this. Second skill's Flicker plus ultimate second skill. Pretend to use your second skill, let's flicker into the enemy backline and activate your ultimate. Follow up with your second skill for a devastating knockup. Pretend to push the tanky target and flicker towards the backline to surprise the enemies. Tigreal's second skill can't dash through walls, but with this combo, you can. Basic combo, Flicker Ultimate, first, second, second.
Banish the darkness.
Advanced combo, Ultimate Flicker first, second, second. You should not second ultimate because you won't get time to chain your knockup skill. If the enemy has dashing or immunity skills or tough boots, they can easily escape your knockup skill. Instead, you should second ultimate second. This combo even stops enemies with tough boots. Did you know? You can pull enemies with Tigreal's ultimate through thin walls. Always remember, Tigreal's Flicker is your surprise tool. Use these combos wisely based on the situation. Part 3, Zoning for Objectives. As a roamer, your job doesn't end with engages. You also need to secure turtles and lords. 1. Zone the enemy jungler. During objectives, your number one target is the enemy jungler. Knock them back with your second skill or trap them with your ultimate to stop their retribution. 2. Control space. Position yourself between the enemy team and the objective. This creates a safe zone for your teammates to secure the turtle or lord. 3. Engage at the right time. If the enemy team commits, use your combos to disrupt and secure kills. Pro tip: don't hesitate to sacrifice yourself for your team carry or an objective. If you can zone the enemy jungler long enough for your team to secure it, you've done your job perfectly. Part 4: Mind games and tips. Here's a fun trick. Pretend you have flicker and ultimate even when you don't. Why? Because it forces the enemy to hesitate. They won't risk engaging if they think you're ready to counter them. This buys you precious time for your cooldowns. But when your flicker and ultimate are up, don't hesitate. A well-timed engage can win the game, even if you only catch one key target. Part 5: As Tigreal. You should try to engage from an angle where the enemy won't expect it, like from behind rather than coming straight from the front. They'll easily see it coming if you go head on. Use conceal, even if you have to, and surprise them. Part 6: Use conceal either to engage or to escape. While escaping, don't use it right away. Wait for the right moment. Bait enemy skills first. Basic attacks won't reveal you in conceal, but if enemy skills hit you, it'll be removed. Part 7: Map awareness. You should always keep an eye on the map. Rotate and support where it's needed, following enemy movements. Be sure to check bushes, give vision, and provide information about enemy whereabouts. Part 8: How to give vision. You can hide in bushes 1, 2, 3, and 4 to provide vision. By doing this, you can gather information about buffs, turtles, lords, and enemy rotations. Most enemies will pass through these bushes while rotating between gold and EXP lanes. However, I highly recommend focusing on bushes 2 and 3. Why? Because most enemies don't expect you to hide there. They usually only check bushes 1 and 4, and only if they're smart enough to suspect camping. If they're cautious, they'll take the safe zone, their jungle or turret territory. Don't worry if they take the safe zone. They'll have to pass directly in front of their turret, which makes it easy for your team to spot them. If you suspect enemies are camping in the bushes I mentioned, you should also take the safe zone yourself to rotate. It's better to stay alive than to die for nothing. When your team is taking the lord or turtle, camp in bushes 2, 3, and 4. Always remember, vision is the key to victory. But here's the catch: only do this if you have good teammates. If your team isn't reliable, stick with the player who is performing well and can carry. In solo or duo play, sometimes you have to be a little selfish. Only support the teammate you trust or the one who is carrying the game. Cutting enemy rotations, a strategic guide. To effectively cut enemy rotations, you need to dive deep into enemy territory and camp strategically. The goal is to stop them from rotating by damaging them, forcing them to retreat, recall, or even eliminate them before they reach their destination. This tactic is most effective when executed with the help of your mage and jungler. By doing this, you create space for other lanes to farm properly and gain an advantage. However, remember this is a situational strategy. Don't attempt it recklessly. Always coordinate with your team, especially your jungler and mage, to make this work successfully. When supporting gold lane or experience lane, hide in bush 8 or 9 if possible to catch the enemy off guard. Stay sharp and wait for the perfect moment. You don't necessarily need to kill them. Forcing them to use the battle spell, recall, or not letting them take minions properly is enough. 7. Avoid picking Tigreal early on. You should look out for counters such as Diggy or Akai. You can pick Tigreal early if the enemy picks their roamer and jungler. But remember, Akai can be played as a jungler too. I recommend picking Tigreal as the 4th or last pick if possible. You should also watch out for specific hero skills or battle spells like Diggy's ultimate or Purify. But if you still want to pick Tigreal every match, it's up to you. You can bait Diggy or Akai's ultimate or spells like Purify by catching them with your second skill, pulling them to your allies, or damaging them. Let your allies force them to use their skills or focus on killing specific targets like Diggy, for example. Here's a list of Tigreal counters. Hard counter, Diggy. Easy counters: Akai, Valir, Martis, Nana, Chu, Valentina, and Purify. Good combos with Tigreal: Julian, Firmus, Gord, Nana, Odette, and Claude, thanks to their AoE skills. If you're wondering which heroes Tigreal counters, the answer is literally any hero, except for those with dashes, immunity skills, Purify, and the counters I mentioned earlier. Part 8. Build and Emblems. Here is my suggested build. Now, a lot of players say, don't take Concussive Blast because it has a higher chance of stealing kills. But in solo or duo queue, you can't always rely on your teammates to deal damage. So, I recommend you take Concussive Blast to poke and deal damage yourself and help your carry secure those kills. It all depends on how you use Concussive Blast. Use it to poke the enemy, not to steal kills. But don't always take the same build every game. Pick your build based on the enemy's draft. For example, if the enemy has lifesteal, take Dominance Ice to reduce healing and slow their attack speed. If the enemy has more magic heroes, take magic defense items like Athena's Shield or Radiant Armor. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting. It's totally free. Please support Extinction Plays.